Geoffrey, let's start with the main themes emanating from Davos at the moment. Much more positive than the mood last year.
Yes, I'm getting a sense that it's much more positive. I think there's hope, but Europe is still an issue. I mean, it's still being raised. There's still concerns. Naturally, it also affects us in South Africa. If Europe doesn't grow, we are affected because we export, even though we're looking at other markets as well. Yeah?
Are you getting a sense that Europe is stable, though, at least?
Well, I'm getting some comfort. Naturally, what's happening in Spain is also a concern to us. I mean, the unemployment levels are high, well, same as in South Africa. But I think it's been over time now, and I think the fact that the European leaders are actually making sure, at least, to say that we need to really reverse the situation, that gives me some comfort.
Trouble in Europe and in the developed world certainly presents opportunities for the developing environment, including South Africa. Are you seeing heightened interest for business in Africa?
Yes, in fact I am. We've been fortunate. I mean, we've been meeting a number of people who want to know more about South Africa, those don't, who want to know more about Africa. And it does indeed provide opportunities. In fact, I was in one of the sessions, one of the past European leaders who were saying Europe has to wake up and see that there's more competition now. He mentioned Africa and mentioned South Africa in particular. I mean, obviously with Southeast Asia and Brazil as well. Yeah.
When you speak to investors, what are the biggest concerns that they are expressing around South Africa? I've asked business leaders and politicians this question repeatedly during the course of Davos.
Well, I think they want to see growth. What are the drivers of growth? And in South Africa in particular, I think the issues of infrastructure, I mean, they raise them, but I think we are comfortable to say, relatively speaking, we're much better. The financial system works and the legal system works. I think that's what the investors want to know, that if I put in my money, will I be able to get it? If there's any problems, if I go to the courts, will they be able to protect me? And in South Africa, we have those, yeah.
So you believe they have got a level of comfort that their rights are going to be protected when they do business in South Africa. What about Africa?
Well, there's an opportunity. There's a number of countries. I think because what starts is in the political, if there's a political will, and I'm getting more and more of that. I mean, also having listened to a number of political leaders here, that they are highlighting that there's an issue that they have to address. So when there's a political will, I think it makes it a bit easier, because then that's where you take cue. And because also, as IDC, we invest in the continent as well. I mean, we are getting that comfort here.
Do you think that African leaders in general are coming across well here at Davos, that there is a consistent message that is being communicated?
Well, Bronwyn, I have not been in all of the sessions where they have been, so I'm not going to speak on their behalf. But the ones that I've listened to, and I think also there was one session where there were a number of them last night, I'm getting a sense that there's consensus, and then the issue is infrastructure. I know it's been talked about, but now it's moving to actually implementation.
And what about labour tensions? Again, it's a theme that keeps coming up when we talk about Africa, in particular South Africa. We're still hitting the news headlines on a negative front when it comes to labour tensions in the country. Your thoughts, Geoffrey? There's no silver bullet. Pravin Gordhan has said it, the Minister of Finance, and certainly other ministers in the South African ministry.
Well, I think for as long as you employ people, there has to be engagement. And the fact that there is engagement. In South Africa, there's structures. I think the challenge becomes when people just undermine those and then have their own arrangements outside of those. And I think it's important that we continue to engage. Because remember, you're dealing with people here and they've got stakes. The thing is, we all have to have a common vision. And the fact that there's NEDLAC, for me, gives me comfort, because that's where all the three parties, business, government and labour, are. I think that's positive. But for as long as you have employees and employee relationship, you'll always have that. The thing is, it should not be violent, and I think that's important, and that people should be free to express their views. But also, let's also be realistic. We're coming to an era where, I mean, really times are tough, and the employees themselves also want to see that they are being captured into this economy, and also the gap between the income levels is an issue that was of concern. But everything has to be done orderly.